Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. If you're looking to feel better in your life and want to feed your soul, you are in the right place. Here we believe life doesn't have to be so hard. I'm Kim McLaughlin. I am your host. I am a licensed psychotherapist, coach, author, and speaker. In today's podcast, we're going to discuss the fun and expansive direction for this podcast. I love the new year. I love it because it helps me reflect on what happened in the past and what I want to have for the focus in the future. That includes this podcast, my life, my business. I've been really spending some time thinking about it, and I want this podcast to focus in some practical new direction, and I am so excited about it. Let me tell you some history. My podcast, Feed Your Soul with Kim, has 113 episodes, and we have covered a lot already. We've had guests, we've had information, and I really feel excited to share with you that we are going to expand our focus. We've primarily been centered around discussions around overeating, emotional eating, and intuitive eating. And we're going to continue to talk about those. Don't get me wrong, those are still going to be top of mind, but we're going to go deeper into more issues around overall wellness, mental health, and emotional well-being. These are things that I find are coming up for everybody that I'm talking with, and I want us to delve a little deeper into it. In this podcast, we're committed to exploring topics that truly matter. We'll talk about real life, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. We'll talk about all kinds of subjects, and our discussion's going to return to some core questions, some core ideas. And here they are. What do you see what you think? The first one is how can you feed your soul? This is something that I think about with every podcast we have. Everything I talk about, everything I write about is how can you feed your soul? And those are going to be questions that are going to be more front and center as we go into this kind of new era of the podcast. And the second idea we're going to talk about is how you can find ways to even feel just a little bit better in your daily life, just a little bit better. That's important because I think that's what we all want, is just to feel a little bit better every day. And the third thing we're going to return to over and over again is how can you implement some new skills? When you have been on my podcast before, listen to my podcast before, you know that we always talk about doables. We talk about what are you going to do? What's going to be your takeaway? What are you going to try differently? And that's not going to stop. We're going to continue doing that and really just spread some new ideas out there for you to try something to feel just a little bit better while you're feeding your soul. Because ultimately, that's what we want, to feel better, feel more balanced, and feel more at peace. Here's what's ahead. When we're talking about expanding what we're talking about, I want to give you some ideas about where we're going to go. So we're going to expand into topics that are essential for mental and emotional wellness. And those include topics around emotional resilience, stress management, family dynamics, navigating relationships, daily habits that support your mental well-being, effective communication, ineffective communication, self-expression. How are you going to talk about what's going on and get out those ideas to people? How are you going to overcome or move through self-doubt? How can you build self-confidence? And the big one is how can you find joy in everyday life? Things are tough. Things are difficult out there. And I think we can come back to what are ways we can increase our self-esteem, increase our self-worth, increase our wellness, so we just feel a little bit better every day. And that is what we're going to focus on. We'll keep asking the question, how can I feed my soul? And this is a personal question, and it's a question for you to keep asking. How can I feed my soul? What's a new way to feed my soul? What does that mean to feed my soul? We're going to explore all of it. We're going to have insightful interviews. I have been talking to a lot of speakers who want to come on this podcast. They are all really feeling encouraged, and they have a lot to say, a lot to share with you, and a lot of ideas I think that they're going to give you that are going to be extraordinary, and they're going to spark new perspectives, practical tools for your personal growth, whatever way that is, whatever way you're going to see feeding your soul. I'm going to listen to what topics resonate with you. I want to know what you think. I invite you to share your thoughts, your feedback, your personal experiences with us. I want to know what's working and what's not working. This is a journey about all of us, and I can't wait to grow and learn together. And I look forward to where we're going to go and the things that we're going to do to explore how we can have more of this wellness. Come back to the next podcast episode. I look forward to talking with you guys more. This is going to be a great year and a great journey to feed all of our souls. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. We love bringing you fresh content to help you feed your soul. We would appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave a comment about our podcast so others can find us. Here's a disclaimer. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health counseling. If you are suffering, seek out a qualified mental health provider. You are worth it.